What's up, Falcons Nation? It's your boy Jew coming at you with another Atlanta Falcons video. As always, Falcons Nation, rise up. In today's video, I would like to talk about quarterback Desmond Ridder. But if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you know when I've done Atlanta Falcons content. Hit that like button for your boy. I do appreciate each and every one of you guys for your continued support. If you would like to follow your boy on Twitter and Instagram, you can follow me at Jew Talk Sports. If you would like to be a part of my Jew Talk Sports membership, you can hit that join tab here on the channel as well. But with that being said, let's jump right into the video. So in today's video, I do want to talk about backup quarterback Desmond Ridder, and should the Atlanta Falcons make the quarterback change and start Desmond Ridder the remainder of the season. Personally, I don't believe the Falcons should start Desmond Ridder. I think that they should stick with Marcus Mariota the remainder of the season. I said this going into the season, that if the Falcons are playing competitive football and if they're in playoff contention, you don't enter or make the switch to Desmond Ridder at any point in the season. You let him sit back and learn from Marcus Mariota, who's the veteran on this team. You allow Desmond Ridder to continue to progress, continue to learn and develop as a rookie quarterback. The quarterback position is the hardest position to play in the NFL. You are the leader of the team. You call the plays. And I feel like at this point, I don't really think that the Falcons gain anything by playing Desmond Ridder. At the end of the day, Arthur Smith, as the head coach of this team, his job is to win as many games as possible. These guys are professional football players. These guys are still trying to make the playoffs. And what do you say to the veteran guys on this team if you decide to switch to Desmond Ridder at this point? Guys like Grady Jarrett, guys like Jake Matthews, these guys are going out there and competing week in and week out, trying to compete for a championship, trying to compete for the playoffs. These guys are losing years on their career. These guys are veteran guys that's been around. Both Jake Matthews and Grady Jarrett has played in the Super Bowl and lost the Super Bowl. And these guys don't know how many more opportunities they're going to have moving forward to possibly get into the dance, make the playoffs, and possibly compete for a championship. So you don't go to a rookie quarterback just because you want to see what the quarterback can do. At this point, I feel like you wait till next season and give him a clean slate. I don't think a lot of fans are looking at the obvious things that's sitting out in front of the Atlanta Falcons, like us having to play the New Orleans Saints at New Orleans when we come back from the bye. You don't want to throw a rookie quarterback into one of the most hostile places to play in the NFL, in New Orleans, against our arch rivals, who really made Tom Brady last night look really pedestrian. That defense pretty much controlled the game. And until the tail end of that game, Tom Brady looked a mess the whole game. So if you're talking about who's considered to be the GOAT of quarterbacks struggling against the Saints defense, what do you believe that a guy like Desmond Ridder, a rookie quarterback who hasn't played in any live NFL games as far as real games other than preseason, he hasn't, played in any meaningful games. So at this point, I really feel like the Falcons would be doing Desmond Ridder a disservice to throw him into this game, against the New Orleans Saints, who is the arch rival on their home turf where it's loud. He has no chemistry with the offensive line. He has no chemistry with the wide receivers, because most of the times when you're the backup quarterback, you're basically the scout team quarterback, and basically you're not taking any first team snaps. So I know that we are, entering our bye week at this point, and he has like 2 weeks to prepare. But still, at this point, I think the only thing you do if you throw Desmond Ridder in this situation, if he doesn't play well, is kill his confidence. And I think you basically are hitting the reset button on the whole season if you decide to throw Desmond Ridder in this situation. Like everything that Marcus Mariota and this team has built this season, the 5 games that they've won, if you happen to throw Desmond Ridder into the fire in this game against New Orleans in 2 weeks, basically you're hitting the reset button. We think, we talk about Marcus Mariota not having chemistry with Kyle Pitts, not having chemistry with Drake London. Well, he's built that chemistry over these, 13 games that we've played so far this season. So at this point, if you throw Desmond Ritter in, it's almost like you're going back to week one. They don't know his voice in the huddle. They don't know, his snap counts and things of that nature. Nobody on the offense is used to him being out there with the team. So I feel like at this point, you will be setting yourself back if you decide to throw Desmond Ritter out there. I don't really feel like at this point you would be learning anything. If you throw Desmond Ritter out there, he still has to adjust to the speed of the NFL game. I continue to tell fans, everybody that's calling for Desmond Ritter, yes, he played well in the preseason, but during the preseason, the opposing team is not preparing for Desmond Ritter or preparing for you. They're playing really vanilla defense. So at that point, he really wasn't seeing NFL, top NFL caliber defensive schemes. He basically was just seeing vanilla schemes out there, and he was seeing second and third and fourth string players that now are not even playing in the NFL, most of those guys. So at this point, I don't believe that. I'm not trying to say that Desmond Ritter isn't a good quarterback, because I do think that Desmond Ritter could be a solid starter and could be a solid quarterback or possibly a franchise guy in the NFL eventually for our Atlanta Falcons. But at this point, I don't think the Falcons gain anything by throwing him out there. I continue to say over and over again that Desmond Ritter isn't the savior for the Atlanta Falcons, that nobody's going to be able to save this team. But for whatever reason, the fans keep calling for Desmond Ritter. They continue to think that Desmond Ritter is a guy that's going to be able to come in somehow and change the Atlanta Falcons' fortunes. And I continue to talk about, we're seeing poor run defense from our defensive line and our front seven. We're seeing poor pass protection by our offensive line. But for some reason, we keep thinking that putting Desmond Ritter or another quarterback in the game is going to change the fortunes of this team. And it's bigger than just the quarterback position. So at this point, I feel like Arthur Smith should stay put with Marcus Mariota. At this point, you're not going to learn anything by throwing Desmond Ritter in for the last 4 games of the season. You're not going to be able to get a fair evaluation on him this season at all. You're going to have to give Desmond Ritter at least 2 to 3 seasons before you know what he actually is. So at this point, it's no reason to rush the process of trying to throw Desmond Ritter out there. You don't have Kyle Pitts, so you're not going to be able to see him with all of his weapons out there. I feel like that at this point, you might as well just stick it out with Marcus Mariota, see how many wins you can get. If you do decide to play Desmond Ritter, the only way I would play him is if the Falcons are out of playoff contention. Once the Falcons are finally eliminated, meaning mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, at that point, if you want to throw Desmond Ritter in the last game of the season, so be it. But at this point, I see no reason to rush Desmond Ritter out there. I feel like there's more negatives than positives. And when I look at decisions, when you're making these type of big decisions for a franchise, I always look at the pros and cons. And to me, there's more cons to putting Desmond Ritter out on the field than there is pros. I really don't feel like it's really nothing positive that's going to come out of trying to put Desmond Ritter out there on the field at this point. I feel like you set the team back and you hit the reset button. But you guys let me know what you think of the video. You guys let me know, do you think Desmond Ritter should start the remainder of the season? Personally, I think they should just stick it out with Marcus Mariota, allow him to finish out the season, see how many wins you can get. You possibly still sneak into the playoffs. But at this point, I'm not throwing Desmond Ritter and putting him in this situation. Being that I know majority of the Falcons fans, we're not patient fans. Everybody wants to win now. And Marcus Mariota gives you the best opportunity to win now. Putting Desmond Ritter in the game doesn't give us a better opportunity to win these games down the stretch. You want to stick it out. If you've seen after this last game when they were in the locker room, all of the veteran players and all of the players that they talked to, when the media talked to them, they basically stated that they stood behind Marcus Mariota at this point. He's the starting quarterback. Allow him to finish out the season and finish what he started. I don't believe, like I said, putting Desmond Ritter out there at this point, you're going to really learn much. And I really don't feel like at this point in his career, being that he's a rookie, he doesn't give the team the best chance to win. So if we want to point the finger, at anything, I will point the finger at us making crucial mistakes at crucial times this season. It's been a lot of blown opportunities by Atlanta Falcons, and that hasn't been just Marcus Mariota making these mistakes. It's been a litany of mistakes that you can point the finger at of why this Atlanta Falcons team haven't capitalized on the wins. But to say that Marcus Mariota is the reason why the Falcons haven't won more games, I think it's far from the truth. It's a lot of different reasons why this team, hasn't succeeded this season and hasn't seized the moment at crucial times during these games. But the main thing I think is the biggest issue for this Falcons team is this Atlanta Falcons team isn't a quarterback away from being a great team. It's a lot of things that this Falcons team has to improve on to become a great team. So just making a quarterback change, whether it's Desmond Ridder or whether it's another quarterback that's out there, I don't think just bringing in a great quarterback is going to change the fortunes of this Atlanta Falcons team. We have to go back to the drawing board this offseason. We have to go out and draft in the trenches. We have to get better on the defensive side of the ball to be able to stop the run. And it's a lot of things that this Falcons team has to improve on. So for us just to continue to talk about the quarterback position, continue to bank on, well, if we had Desmond Ridder out there, we will win more games. I don't believe that, because it's been games where we've seen, fumbles at crucial moments. We've seen dropped interceptions at crucial moments. We've seen bad play calls at times. We've seen all matters of things this year that's caused us to lose games. We've seen penalties. Like last week, we've seen crazy penalties in unopportune moments. So it's just been so many different things that you can point your finger at. If I felt like the Falcons were a quarterback away, meaning all of our other needs were met, meaning we were good in the trenches, we were stopping the run, we were protecting the passer, and then Marcus Mariota was still, turning the ball over, and he was the reason that we were losing these games, then I would be fine with them making the change. But I really don't think that you can just point at Marcus Mariota as the reason of what's holding this Falcons team back. I don't really feel like Marcus Mariota is the reason that this team hasn't won more games. I feel like it's been a total team effort that guys are not making plays when plays are presenting themselves. I always talk about, the 3 to 4 plays in a game that changed the game, which we seen last night in that Saints game where the Saints made crucial mistakes at crucial moments against the Buccaneers that cost them that game. That's the same thing that's been going on with the Falcons. There's been numerous times where we had opportunities to close out games, to win games, and for whatever reason, the ball hasn't bounced our way. Guys haven't made plays when plays were there to be made, that's a total team effort. It doesn't come down to one man. So with that being said, you guys let me know what you think of the video. As always, Falcons Nation, rise up. Peace.